Hi there. So for today's video blog, I wanted to talk about sleep. So with 2026 in full swing now, it's kind of like, I always liken fresh starts to shaking a tree and seeing what falls, right? So the good fruit stays, the bad fruit falls. And it's almost like the bad fruit is where you need to focus your efforts, right? So the good fruit, the stuff that you can stay consistent with, no problem. That's awesome. And everything can kind of like, just take hold and keep going in the right directions. But the bad fruit that falls is where we really need to focus energy and effort so that we can get things on track and keep them on track. So I have had more people, whether it's in my personal life or professional life, talking about sleep recently. And there is so much connected to sleep that it's almost, it's kind of funny that we don't focus more on it, more attention and share more information and spotlight it more, because it really does impact so many parts of your life, whether it's hunger or energy, focus, everything. And it impacts your health long term too. So it's hormones, huge. So everything is kind of connected to it. And so I wanted to share some super simple tricks that you can use that you can absolutely just start the best sleep cycles that really kind of help you just win and have success in so many different areas of your life. So just to highlight, because last night I actually had I had fallen asleep. We had a wild weekend. Not wild, it was just up late and a wild weekend. For my kind of wild, it was like up late watching Game of Thrones and just trying to get up early to go to church. And then I don't know, so Sunday we got a lot done, but so I had fallen asleep at like 7, and then I woke up at 8:30 because everybody was walking around and doors were opening and closing and dogs were barking. And so I'd even remarked to my daughter as she was walking by, I was like, why is everybody so loud? And she was like, because it's only 8:30 at night. And I was like, okay. So, but I got up and went downstairs and was talking to my daughter's boyfriend and started eating, right? Because I was in the kitchen and I was like, gosh, I'm like famished. I wasn't famished. My body was saying, okay, if she's getting up and we're doing a second wind, we're going to need fuel. And so it's amazing how the body works, because obviously my insulin was low. So my brain is, talking to my body, trying to say, okay, we need to get her to eat. So we can get this insulin corrected and get, our blood sugar balanced. And so I sought out food. And so cortisol is the craziest hormone. She's awesome, but if she's crazy, everything's crazy. And so sleep interruptions wreak havoc on cortisol, which wreaks havoc on cravings and hunger and all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to highlight that, because I was thinking about it this morning, and it's so interesting, because if I had been cognizant of what was going on, I probably wouldn't have ate anything. I just would have had some water and gone back to sleep. But because cortisol was having her way, it was definitely it was just interesting to be able to reflect on that and see that it was a direct effect. So anyway, one of the best things that you can start doing if you're trying to get your sleep habits back on track is to start getting up earlier. I know that it sounds hard, and it is hard. Sometimes it's really, really hard. For the first 3 days, almost any new habit is going to be a challenge. So I encourage you to set your alarm. And if you're currently getting up at 6, start getting up at 5. If you're currently getting up at 5, start getting up at 4. And I know it sounds brutal, but it works. And so one of the things that you can start recognizing and realizing right away is you're more worn out, like by the end of the day. And that's what helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and it kind of gets your circadian rhythm back into a good groove that's going to help you sleep better, because you fall asleep faster, you sleep more deeply, and you just reap so many different benefits. And it's all just from getting up earlier. And you can use that new time to journal, exercise, read, whatever. There's so many different things. And I actually value that early morning hour that I have ahead of time, because nobody's awake. And so I get so much more stuff done undistracted. I get clarity on my on my day. I do a to-do review that just sets me up for success, because then I know what I'm looking forward to for the day. So it's just super beneficial across the board. But so anything that you can be doing, wake up an hour early, earlier than you currently are. And like I said, 3 days and the pain will be done. It could be brutal for 3 days, but I promise you the benefits outweigh the risk. So the next thing, make sure that you're not eating too late. I always tell clients, don't eat within 3 hours of bedtime. When you are digesting food, your body is not in a good place to be going to sleep. And even if you fall asleep, it's going to be disturbed sleep. You might wake up again. It's just brutal. So try to stay away from food for the last 3 hours. Obviously, water drinking, again, that's another one that it can interrupt you because you're waking up and then going back to sleep. And then exercise. If you can get exercise in your day, and the earlier the better, right? So the exercise is essential, but you have to keep it away from sleep. I know there's a ton of people who they're like, I thrive on afternoon exercise, and that's fine. But you don't want to have exercise, again, within that 3 hour span before your bedtime. And the whole reason is because you know how you get energized when you exercise? That energy can actually keep you up. So I've had so many clients, countless clients, you know, come and we're trying to figure out what's happening with sleep. Why are we not able to sleep? And then they're like, well, I'm working out at like 8 o'clock at night and trying to go to sleep at 9:30 or 10. And it's like, your body is like wired and ready for action. And so it's going to be impeding any kind of good sleep. So the more that you can safeguard those 3 hours before bedtime and really just try to, we actually have alarms in our house that go off. One goes off 2 hours before my bedtime to let me know that it's time to shut down shop in about an hour, and we're going to be needing to go upstairs and do my whole nighttime routine. And so and then the second alarm goes off 1 hour before bed, and that one tells me, you know, that we need to make sure that everything is moving in the right direction and setting us up for success sleep-wise. So I would recommend either or both of those. Super helpful. And then if you can set up an awesome sleep routine, and I know that this is going to sound silly and simplistic, but the minimizing screen time, we all know, is a major win, right? Because anything that's going to keep us from being stimulated is good. But then also, if you can make it into a routine that your body starts to associate, like I do these actions or behaviors and then sleep immediately follows, you start to fall into that rhythm, and then your body just unconsciously takes over every night when you start doing any of those activities. So I start getting sleepy as soon as I start to wash my face at night. So, you know, anything that you can be doing to just help your system start to align and get into a good rhythm about falling asleep on time consistently, it just helps. So it's kind of like one of those habit hijacks, right? Anybody who's ever read Atomic Habits, highly recommend. I would definitely associate this with that premise. So I really hope that you start getting some good sleep and start feeling the benefits of being able to have that consistently in your routine, because your mental clarity, your sustainable energy, your hunger and cravings, everything, hormonal balance, blood sugar balance, everything is connected to sleep. And so if you can start really getting, you know, into a good groove with your sleep habits and get your sleep tracking, you know, just in a great place, you'll have awesome success, not only with sleep, but across the board. So anyway, so that's our focus for this week. I hope you have awesome success. If you have any questions, reach out to me at ultimatefitmom.com, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.